Hello world and welcome to Golf Subpar. I am Drew Stoltz. My man Colt Knost not with us here today for the intro portion of the show. We'll be here for the interview. He is actually up in Las Vegas right now. Talked to him last night, flipping some cards. He's going to play a little golf today, so he's in good spirits. He is safe, nothing to worry about there. But I'll be handling the beginning portion of this show today, and maybe while Colt is up in Las Vegas, he could swing by the 9th green at the Wynn Golf Club because I think Bryson left his soul on that green earlier this past week. That was the main thing that happened in golf this week. No official tournament, no events being played. It was the match with Bryson and Brooks. A lot of anticipation leading up to it. A lot of talk back and forth. Bryson did some interviews leading up to the week, had some things to say, and then the golf started. And it was pretty much about as lopsided as you can get for a 12-hole match. It ended up finishing on the 9th green. I know they had lights set up there later on the back 9. In case the thing went to extra innings, if they had to play extra holes, they're going to do a whole thing. And it was over about as quickly as it started. So there's a lot of people talking about this match. Did it work? Did it not work? This is the first time we've really had like a feud in golf where two guys who openly don't get along with one another are teeing it up. And, you know, they banter back and forth on Twitter. They do it in the media. And then all of a sudden they got in the same place at the same time. And neither of them really had a lot to say, as far as I could tell. There were little things here and there. Basically, it was Phil Mickelson trying to stir the pot. Charles was chiming in. We need more Charles, in fact. I think I would watch the World Badminton Championships if Charles Barkley was calling it. He is a national treasure. We need more of him. But in terms of these two, they got out on the course. Wasn't a whole lot. I don't know that this thing really went off the way that we had all anticipated or had hoped. I think it kind of went about the way I expected. We got a couple little things here and there. It's just a big ask, in my opinion, for two guys who aren't used to performing. I mean, they're golfers. People come out and watch them play. To mic them up and expect them to be funny the entire way around or to be entertaining or, you know, I don't know what we expected these two guys to step on the first tee and get in a fist fight. It's just not going to happen. So it was more or less about what I expected, except for the golf didn't go the way I expected. Both Colt and I agreed last week. We thought Bryson would be the guy at the end of the week. You know, he'd been in better form. Brooks really hadn't played that well. He's putting some new clubs in the bag, and we missed on that. One of the mini bets, actually, that I missed on this past weekend. But 12-hole match, it's fun. I mean, look, is it the best thing in the world? No. Is it something I'm going to watch? Yes. Am I going to watch the next one too? Probably. Yep. But I think it just shows two guys out there in this format is a really tough format. To mic them up, expect them to go back and forth. This was also the first time Phil Mickelson wasn't involved in the actual playing, and he's pretty much the catalyst for all of that. Guys react around Phil, and he's getting people involved. So he was in the booth, so he was still involved, but he wasn't on the golf course. And it's just two guys carrying that thing, even only for 9 holes. The thing didn't last very long. It's a tough ask. And I think going forward, if I was going to have any direction on which way this should go, I think you eliminate getting the biggest name golfers you can get and get the golfers that make the most sense for doing this. And there's not a ton of guys that could carry it, in my opinion, but I'm thinking guys like get a Max Homa involved, get Harry Higgs, Joel Damon, Kevin Kisner, Pat Perez, some of these guys that'll let it go a little bit. And I think that's more the vibe that we're all looking for. It's just hard to get these guys to do that, and not everybody can do it. So it ended up being a one-sided beatdown. It didn't last very long. It was on the same time as football, so if you wanted to check it out, you could. It's not terrible. They don't end these things. It just maybe a little tweak here and there, but it's off-season golf. That's what you're going to get. It gives you something to root for, gives you something to bet on, and another good thing to do during the off-season is use Rapsodo. Rapsodo is a mobile launch monitor that's the only golf launch monitor that provides instant feedback with video replay and an active shot tracker and data overlay. You can store your swings in the app, which allows you to review your swings from different sessions, go back, see if you're making progress, see if you're not. The good thing about Rapsodo right now, especially we're coming into winter, if you live in a warm weather place, you can use this thing outdoors. If you live in a cold weather place, it's going to be tough to get out and hit some balls as snow gets on the ground. You can go indoors and use this thing too. And Colt and I have both used this. This app is really, really good because, I mean, you get within 2% accuracy of a TrackMan or Flight Scope or something like that. It gives you all the data you're going to get from those things within 2%, and you don't have to triple mortgage the house to get one of these things. They're very affordable, and they give you all the data that you need as you try to improve your golf game. Like I said, I use it. Colt uses it. Mark Blackburn, 2020 PGA Teacher of the Year, uses it. So if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for all of us. But if you want to check this out, I really think it's worth your while. You go to rapsodo.com/subpar. You get $150 off your order and 30 days free of Rapsodo's premium subscription by using promo code SUBPAR. So go out there, check that out. Good Christmas gift as well for anybody that's got some family members or friends that want to improve the golf game. And now it's time to get to our interview for the week. If you don't know this man's name, you definitely are familiar with his content. His name is Travis Miller. He's the creator of PGA Memes, which I'm sure every golfer out there that I know follows this account. It is responsible for millions of hours lost in the workplace each week. It is a great way to procrastinate through the workday if you're sitting in your office. But we get into the story of how this was created, more or less just sitting on his couch and had an idea. And now this thing has turned into a full-fledged business. The PGA Tour is using him to promote things. It's become an actual business that he's left his previous career and just devoted himself completely to PGA Memes. But he's got a great story. He's a great dude. He takes some jabs where necessary at these guys, which I respect, but we get the full story with him right here. Here he is, Travis Miller. Before we get to the Travis Miller interview, I want to tell you guys about True Turn Pro. I've been using this thing for a while now, and let me tell you why I do it. I'm the type of guy that doesn't get to the golf course super early. Rarely do I get to hit more than 2 or 3 balls before I go to the first tee. And pretty much every time I go out there, 2 down through 3 or 3 down through 4. I got a 2-0. I got a couple presses already happening before I even get loose. And that's why I've started using True Turn Pro. This thing is awesome for loosening up before the round. If you don't have time to hit range balls, you can do this at home. You can do this in your office. You can pretty much do it on the phone as you're walking around your house. You get out there, you feel a whole lot better. It's also really good for back pain prevention. So doing this, if you're a guy that tightens up on the back 9 and your back starts to hurt and you kind of limp to the house, this thing can help with that as well. It's really, really good for stretching and strengthening your hips and back. I mean, if that's something that pretty much all golfers struggle with at some point in their, playing days, this thing is really great for that. I use it mostly for getting ready before the round, but you can use it for a number of other things as well if you just want to fight back pain and prevent back pain from happening later on. It's also super versatile, so you can use it at home, in the gym, on the range. I see guys on tour traveling with this thing. It's really easy to pack. It's lightweight, durable, makes it easy to travel. You can throw it in your bag whenever you want. It doesn't weigh it down. It's not cumbersome or anything like that. This thing is the real deal, and you can get yours at trueturnpro.com. Remember to use our show code here, Subpar, code Subpar for 10% off. That's promo code Subpar for 10% off at trueturnpro.com. Go there right now and get that back healthy. Get ready for the round, and don't start 2 down after 3 like I do. And with that, here's Travis Miller. All right, folks, the man we have with us here today, we all owe him an enormous thank you because he helps all of us procrastinate through our entire workday. He is the creator of the wildly popular Instagram account PGA Memes, the founder of 5'9 Media. Travis Miller, how we doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Great. Good to have you.
Very, very excited for this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Before we get into PGA Memes, we got to learn a little bit about you because I think a lot of people were probably wondering, who is the guy behind PGA Memes? It's Travis Miller. Tell us a little about you. Where did you get your start in golf? What made you fall in love with the game?
Man, so I didn't start golfing until I was in my mid-20s. I was a baseball player, played football, and I never played golf. I actually kind of made fun of the guys in high school that played golf. And I look back now and I'm like totally regret not getting into the sport earlier. But I started a business with friends when I was really young. And it took me to golf because I had to do some client golf and entertaining. And I was terrible, as you can imagine. I had a pretty wicked slice and everyone was playing for money. And I loved the camaraderie. I loved everything to do about golf and the banter back and forth. And I just got hooked. So I started like self-teaching myself. I've really never got a lesson before, and you can totally see it in my swing, but I've made it work. And I've got down to about 7.5 index.
Wow.
And definitely can use some yardage off the tee. So I'm going to try to work on that. But I got obsessed with golf, and I honestly like Ricky Fowler is the dude that like got me really into it. A lot of people say Tiger, but when I started seeing Ricky charge up the leaderboards in those crazy outfits and the long hair flowing out of the hat, like I was like, who is this fucking guy? I was just like, I love this guy. I wanted to play golf. I wanted to hang with that guy, and it just got me hooked. So and here I am now running a meme page. So it's a pretty crazy world.
What was the dream growing up? Like we all had dreams of what we wanted to be growing up. I mean, yours obviously wasn't being a guy that makes memes of PGA Tour players. What was Travis Miller's dream as a young kid?
Man, so I was throwing like high 90s when I was like a freshman and sophomore in high school. And I still hold I grew up in Los Angeles, but my dad transferred his job to Park City, Utah. So I moved to this small town, and I still today hold most of the state records in baseball in Utah. And my dream was just to be a baseball player. I was throwing extreme heat, had like 4 or 5 pitches as a high school kid, which is pretty rare. And then I just didn't have great coaching in high school. So I got overused and wasn't using the right mechanics. And then sure enough, like halfway through my freshman season, I blew out my shoulder.
Ugh.
And just I was smart enough to know like when to hang it up. Like a lot of guys would want to linger on for a few years and see what they could do, but my arm was hanging after a couple of innings. So I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be, if I'm a middle reliever now or a closer now in college, like what am I going to be if I go pro, you know? So I'm like, might as well get a start in my life. And I just got into entrepreneurship and business, and, you know, rest was history.
You're exactly like me, dude. Extreme elite talent, and coaches ruined us. Had it all made, dude. We were on our way, the fast track, and the coaches blew it for us.
Do you want to shit on your coach?
I got a lot of them, dude. The list is too long for me to shit on. We take the rest of the hour.
I need to have that conversation over a few drinks or something. But yeah, it's a shame. And it happens to a lot of people, man. I mean, it's unfortunate. You don't have the right coaching or support, and it could really derail a career for sure.
Yeah, there's some luck that goes into it as well. But you said you got into entrepreneurship after that. And I know you said you started a business with friends prior to PGA Memes. What was that business? What were you doing before all this?
So it was selling home security systems. So I moved to Utah, and like Utah is obviously the mecca of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, and they'll go out and knock doors for 2 years and preach, you know, the church and all that stuff. And so I didn't go on a mission or anything like that, but I had all these friends who did, and they started selling alarm systems door to door. And they were making incredible money. Like a couple kids were coming home making like $200,000 over the summer. And I moved out of my house when I was 17, and I didn't have any money. I had like $20 to my name, and I got invited to a pizza party to go hear this guy talk about how great, you know, how much money he made and how great it was. So I went, all of us signed up to go do it, moved to Chicago and knocked doors. And I was like #1 first year sales rep in the company. It was just super shady the way everything was organized. And, you know, all those types of gimmicky type of sales jobs usually are. But my best friend's father at the time had just retired from Delta Airlines right after 9/11, aging myself there a little bit. But he's like, listen, I want to start a business. I want to have it be family oriented. Like, Travis, you're not family, but you are. Essentially, he's like, let's do this. So it was like really 3 or 4 of us that started this alarm company, and we became one of the fastest growing authorized dealers for ADT in the country. So did that for 4 or 5 years. And then the company kind of segued to commercial security, which security in general is not fun. It's not sexy. Commercial security is way bad. And I had no interest in doing it at all. And I got recruited onto the corporate side. And that's what moved me to Dallas. I started working for Brinks Home Security and worked there for 10 years. And I was their head of sales and marketing, and ran a lot of their outside sales channels with their dealers. And that's what really got me into golf, because I was traveling all the time, you know, wining and dining guys, and got to play some of the best courses, you know, in the country. Got to meet a lot of great people. And that really kind of pushed me into starting to create some of these Instagram accounts that I run today that are just really for fun, parody, and, you know, just satire stuff.
Now the Brinks truck backs up to you.
Yeah, that's right. Do you remember exactly where you were or what you were doing when this idea came to you? And what was the first meme you ever did?
Yeah.
Well, so the first thing that I did was this account Hiss-a-Lot. The Hiss-a-Lot's a fake rattlesnake. And I like Fuji does a ton of those for me. He pretty much is like a Hiss-a-Lot ambassador, but the end of the day, that started, I didn't even have social media, and we had the snake. We had a friend who did that all the time, and he was quite a bit older than us. He got back surgery. He didn't quite recover like Tiger did, so he pretty much stopped golfing. And we were like, man, we need to bring that back. And so we got a few of those pranks, and they were just so funny and just so real. And like, you were belly laughing for like 2 or 3 holes. So I started that account, and it went viral instantly. It was on Golf Channel. A couple other outlets picked it up. A lot of like pro football players and basketball players were into it. And I was like, dude, this is pretty fun. It got me hooked on kind of how to run a social media account. But the meme account, I literally was just sitting on my couch on my underwear. I mean, I was living by SMU actually at the time, in one of those like high-rise apartments by the mall. And I'm like, I love memes. I like to escape from my day. You know, I was working like 60, 70-hour weeks, traveling all the time. So I'd always look at meme pages and find a way that like how it would like relate to my life, my relationship, whatever it may be. And I was like, man, there's really no golf meme pages. Like, there's a few memes that pop up every now and then, and they're really funny, but like, there's no golf meme pages. And so I searched for the name, and I couldn't believe PGA Memes was even available, because a username can make a big difference. And it was available. And I tried doing some things, to be honest with you guys, the first couple of weeks, and it just wasn't it. I was trying to like be someone I wasn't. I was trying to like repurpose or aggregate some other content that was out there. And then finally around the Masters when Patrick Reed won, at the time, I didn't dislike Patrick Reed. Like, matter of fact, full transparency. I was
Let's get that clear.
Yeah, no, I was at Hazeltine. I was like the biggest Patrick Reed Captain America fanboy. You know, I was there when he pulled it from the fairway. I was, you know, cheering him on. But back to what I said earlier, I'm a big Ricky guy, you know, and that was the Masters that got away from Rick. And if it weren't for the flag stick on 17, we'd probably have Ricky in the green jacket, you know, and the world would probably be a better place right now, or everyone would be a little bit happier. But, you know, Patrick Reed won, and it just felt this like dissatisfaction, like overcame me. And I know it overcame a lot of people in the golf world. You know, they wanted to see Ricky win or someone else win. And so I just started making jokes about that. And it was like real. It's how I felt. It was going after a guy, and, you know, he may or may not have deserved it. You know, people have their own opinion, but at the end of the day, people loved that I was just creating like real feelings, stuff that people are thinking, but won't say. And going after players, because it's such like you're playing the sport for yourself. You know, you're not a team, you're not a community like you are like the Cleveland Browns. You're Patrick Reed, you're Smiley Kaufman. So if you go after someone specifically, it could be distasteful depending on how you do it, but it's like that shock factor. And the golf community really loved it. They blew up super fast, and next thing I knew, I had like 100,000 followers within 6 weeks, and I was like, all right, I think I'm onto something here. This is more than just a hobby at this point.
Is that the moment, like once you got to about 100,000 followers, like, oh man, this thing could actually turn into something?
Yeah, because for me, like I've done sales and marketing for so long, I didn't have any plans on monetizing this at all when I started it. It was just like, this is for fun. And then when it got big enough, and like I started talking to a few folks, and some of the pro guys were responding to me, and like Golf Digest did an article on me. I was like, you know, this could be something here. This could become a platform where there could be a lot of fun being had. And I started kind of thinking down the road of how it could be shaped into something bigger. And I was fortunate enough that I had a good career. I was making good money, and I didn't have to put the cart before the horse. I could really build this out the way I wanted to, and have some fun with it along the way. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I really tried to put this thing together over the last couple of years. And I got to the point where I probably could have quit my job earlier, but with COVID, I took advantage of it. Like they didn't have me traveling or going to an office. So I was like, well, I might as well just do both still. But this last May, I was faced with the decision of what I needed to do, and just chose this. And I've been doing this full time now for the last few months.
So you owe all of this success indirectly to Patrick Reed.
I do.
He's the guy that launched this thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I got to say that I got to meet him for the first time out at CJ.
Yes,
and we got to talk about that, because I was worried about that moment.
We need to hear it.
Let's talk about it.
We need to hear that. Yeah, I got to know.
Because here's the guy you went after, as you said, and now you get to meet him face to face. Because a lot of people, everybody on Twitter is like, oh, you're a keyboard warrior, all this. All people on Twitter. That's just how they are. They'll never say it to your face. You come face to face with Patrick Reed. How'd it go?
It went good. I mean, so here's the thing I will say, like, people probably think I'm the biggest asshole out there when it comes to some of the stuff I do. I'm really not. I'm a good guy. Like, some of the stuff I've done, I felt bad about for sure. I have crossed the line. Okay. And with him particularly, I've crossed the line a couple of times. But Kessler and I became buddies. Like, we have each other's numbers. We'll text back and forth. And I've had some fun with it. When Patrick won the Farmers, I made a joke about, the scene with Chubbs and Happy Gilmore when he's like apologizing to Chubbs. I put Patrick Reed's face on Chubbs and me on Happy Gilmore, and it was, they appreciated that. They liked that I could make fun of myself a little bit as well. But I hit up Kessler and I was like, hey, I'm out here with CJ. Might as well link up and meet. And while we're at it, let's get your boy out there and let's meet up with Patrick. And he's like, yeah, we can make something like that happen. And I really wasn't looking for it. I wasn't going out of my way to make it happen. Didn't think that it would. And I didn't know if I wanted to be honest. But I'm off the 18th green filming something real quick for CJ. And Matt, I think works for 8 a.m. Golf, Estrada, was walking off the green with a group of guys, and he played in the Pro-Am. And he's like, Travis, what's going on, man? Everyone came over and talked to me. And I was like, oh, who'd you guys play with? And the whole group laughed because it was Patrick Reed, and they knew like how hard I've gone at him before. And so they all kind of walk away, and here comes Kessler and Patrick walking up to me. And I'm not going to lie. I was like, dude, this is going to be really good or terrible. And he killed me with kindness, man. He was so nice. Like he's like, oh, you're the guy with all the big funny jokes, huh? You know, I'm like, yeah. I was like, I just straight up told him, I was like, listen, man, I've definitely gone hard at you, harder than anybody. And there's a couple times I've crossed the line, but I started laughing like, but man, you have definitely made my life easy. I was like, there's some stuff you've done that has made it really easy. And he laughed at that. He goes, no, I understand. He goes, I'm probably not in the same boat, but he goes, I definitely have made it pretty easy for you, you know? And so he was able to laugh at that and acknowledge that, you know, obviously he's done some dumb shit on the course and off the course, but then it was just funny, just small talk conversation. And then the perfect Patrick Reed moment that I like wish I could have had on camera, but I'm just feeding him his ego. I'm like, man, missed you out at Whistling Straits. Like, would have been great to have you out there. It was weird not having Captain America out there at the Ryder Cup. You know, he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm just glad it didn't cost us the cup. You know,
we agree.
And like, dude, it was like dead serious. And I just sat there. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. I was like, can't you just take this as a learning experience? You need to shape up and, you know, get cool with the players, get cool with the coaches, you know, I mean, because it's like, if he's not going to earn his spot, it's going to be damn hard for him to get a captain's pick in the future. But he just made it all about himself there. And you just see the confidence just through the roof. But
glad it didn't cost us the cup.
We only set a record for
we just barely greased that thing out.
I was like, I think we were good.
But dude, Travis, like, I'm surprised, honestly, the first time you met him. Like, I'm gonna tip my cap to Patrick that he didn't come at you and be all angry and like, hey, dude, stop doing this. You're an asshole. That type of stuff. I feel like, so he did that to you directly. I feel like if he would do that in the media more, it would help him so much more. Like, he was able to laugh it off and be like, oh, you're the guy with the joke, you know, and he kind of laughed it off. If he did that in the media more, it would go so much further for his PR than the way he kind of handles things right now. I don't know why he doesn't do that if he can do it to you.
No, for sure. And that's the thing is I've talked to Kessler about it. He doesn't want to do anything with anyone whatsoever. And this was a private moment. Like, I didn't even, there was no pictures or videos taken or anything, but that guy's going to be around for a long time. I mean, he's going to win a lot more tournaments, whether anyone likes it or not. I mean, he's a great player. He's going to win more tournaments, maybe more majors. And it's like, why wouldn't you want to be liked? You know, like, why wouldn't you want to turn the script on some of this stuff? And there's a lot of low-hanging fruit things that I think he can do. He's going to have to probably make fun of himself a little bit before he can get there. And there's a lot of opportunity for that. And that's stuff that, like, I've definitely kind of shifted. I don't say I'm soft or anything like that from where I was, but I've shifted to where, like, it can be a win-win for me and some of these players to do some fun collaborative stuff together. And I'm doing that now with some guys, but like Pat Reed is for sure one of those guys that, you know, do a little bit of content here and there. And like, I think the golf world would be like, holy shit, this guy's, you know, willing to make fun of himself, turn the script, and he's got a long career ahead of him. And the guy plays literally every week. So I don't know why he'd want the crowd and the gallery just chanting terrible stuff at him. You know,
I totally agree with you on that.
I think he thrives on it a little, but he could flip it around so easily, like embracing some of this stuff more than he has in the media.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, I was saying one thing that he did. I mean, it's just probably because I think he has a terrible team around him, but so I don't know if this is really giving him credit. It's just like some guys who go hard at like a meme, it totally backfires on them. You know, it's like, and it fuels me to want to do some more stuff just because it's like, oh, the reaction, even though I may like the person, like Lee Westwood had a terrible reaction to a meme a few years ago. And I couldn't even believe that he wrote it out. And he's like, I did a meme of Tiger, like Photoshop between him and Luke Donald. And I was like, wow. At the time it was like 14 majors in one picture. And, you know, just jabbing at the two guys who've been world number one, never won a major. And Lee commented within 5 minutes. And he's like, real funny coming from a bloke living in his mom's basement with a tiny penis.
And like, hit you with the penis. Damn. Lee.
Yeah. I was like, dude, so I'm dying laughing at this. I'm like, this is insane. And everyone's in the comments is like 50-50, piling on Lee or like piling on me. And I don't care either way. I just think it's the funniest. It was the funniest reaction at the time that I'd gotten. And so I made a few more jokes about Lee over the course of the next year. And then I got hired to go out to Abu Dhabi and do some stuff with the tournament. And Lee was there. And I was like, I was nervous to meet the guy, but I was like, you know, it's going to be an awkward encounter. And hopefully it goes well.
He's a big fella.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I know he's not going to do anything, here, like beat my ass or anything, but like at the end of the day, I was like, I wanted to be cool with him and I wanted it to be cool for the event because I know that he was, there working closely with them and as they hired me there. So it went great though. Like we did a little bit. I didn't say who I was, but he knew. And at the end, I, introduced myself as who I was. And he's like, no, I knew who you were. He's like, tell your mom I said hi, and we laughed it off.
You say, I will,
like,
Lee, and also I have an enormous penis, just so you know.
Yeah, I was like, and you're wrong about the last part, pal.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a great time together, and we've been cool since. Like him and Ian Poulter and some of the guys that at first were at each other's throats a little bit with some stuff. It's subsided and we've kind of found ways to like work together and have fun. And, they're not off the table. Like they do something stupid. Of course, we're going to get made fun of, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to attack these guys personally,
Yeah. Who was the first player that reached out, whether it's through a DM, whether it was positively or negatively? Who was the first guy that ever sent you a message? First tour player?
GMAC.
Really?
Ooh.
Well, I'm guessing it was positive.
Good or bad? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really early on. Like he started following, and I mean, I don't know if there's someone before him, but he was the first person I noticed that followed me that was on the tour. And then, a little interaction back and forth. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. You're spot on with a lot of stuff that you're saying and doing. And, beyond him, it was really a lot of like the tour wives and girlfriends and some caddies. And they still come in to DMs and be like, yeah, like you need to do more on this person or this person's terrible or, giving me the inside, details. And for the longest time, no one knew who I was. And I didn't do that by design. I didn't care to hide my identity, but people started getting more and more curious. Like, well, who are you? Are you someone who's on the road with these guys? Are you a swing instructor? Are you a caddy? Are you a player? Like, who are you? And I'm like, no, I'm just this sales executive guy in Dallas that knows no one, and so it was kind of fun. I played along with that for a little bit. And then finally I got to a certain size. I'm like, all right, well, if I want to put this plan together, I've got to put a face in front of this thing and go from there.
Well, it's working out pretty
well.
I
wanted to ask you about that though. How many people on the slide you have coming in like, yo, this is the guy, you need to get him. He deserves it. Here's a little picture or something, or giving you some ammo. You got some espionage out there for you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I get hundreds of like DMs of people like, hey, here's an idea, or you need to do this. And I honestly don't like watching golf. Like, I'm being honest with you guys. I don't really like sitting there and just watching the whole tournament. I'll pick it up and follow. I'll follow it on my phone very closely, but I'll get stuff sent to me throughout the day and it just quickly inspires me to put something together. But there's definitely people who just pile on the usual suspects. Right. And I'm trying to steer clear of some of them. I mean, like Smiley, it's like beating a dead horse. And I don't know Smiley personally, but he's definitely come at me pretty hard. Not happy with me whatsoever. And like, yeah, but at this point it's like, we're over that. I mean, I don't know when he's going to be back out there, or, his name always pops up in random tournaments, but the joke is dead.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the guy live. So
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Smiley.
But how does it work for you? Like, are you just maybe sitting at a bar one night or sitting on the couch and you're like, oh, this could actually work? Do you run it by anybody else once you come up with the meme, or you're like, you know what, I like this, let's go with it?
No, I mean, honestly, it's just me. I mean, I have like a team of people who I don't have any employees, but I have a team of like 6 people that are contractors that just do a lot of like the video stuff and editing stuff. When it comes to the meme, like there's just like your everyday like golf meme that like appeals to the 99% of the golf world. And funny enough, I found that it appeals a lot to the pros too, where, they play with a lot of shitty golfers too, and they get the humor, but it's just like the everyday golf joke, the meme. And then, having like a good balance of stuff that has tour players that are really, that's going on within the event. Stuff just comes to me and I'll put it together. But like, I can look at a picture and like, even if it's not even a golf picture, and be like, all right, there's 10 ways I can turn that into like a golf meme, and if you have enough stuff in the the library of content to fire off, because like I've been traveling a lot and it's just hard to like stay on top of posting. So if you have enough stuff in your arsenal just to keep going, like you're good to go. But a meme page has to post like 3 to 4 times a day at least, which is a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
The way they grow, memes just get shared so many times. Like you might not comment on a meme, but you can throw it in your DMs and share it with like 20 of your buddies, and it just spirals out of control. But a good meme of mine can get shared like 150,000 times. Mm-hmm. And so that's why the page has grown so quick. Is it has a good username, it's got a lot of celebrity following, and if the content's good, and you don't follow it already, like good chance that you're going to at that point. So it's all worked out so far to this point.
Yeah, and it's a comedy account, and when you're in comedy, like sometimes jokes don't go over, right? And you mentioned earlier, I want to go back to it. You said there are definitely times where I've crossed the line, and I wish I hadn't. Is there one instance that sticks out where like you posted something and then pulled it down because you felt bad or things like that? Something where you're like, oh shit, I might have overstepped the bounds there.
Yeah, it was with Smiley actually. And honestly, like I get his point. I don't know that I personally would have been offended by it, but I mean, I get his point. And I fully respect it. But I found a meme or a picture, sorry, and I don't know if I found it or someone sent it to me, but it was his wife reading, I think, the vows to him on their wedding day, and it was just, and instantly my mind went to Wolf of Wall Street when Matthew McConaughey is talking to Leo, and he's like, "Oh, these are rookie numbers. Like, you need to step it up."
Pump those numbers
up. I put like her reading his scorecard, and then I put that joke, and I was like, "Dude, that's hilarious." And given the picture and like that moment for them, obviously is most special moment of their life, and he's already being beat up by me all the time. Now bringing his wife into it, he went into my and he must have been like 10 natties deep, dude, because he came firing off into my DMs like pretty late and hard. And I honestly, I didn't even think about it from that side of the table, and I felt bad. I was like, dude, that was bad. I don't want to be. I can be labeled as like a dick, or that was too far, but like I don't want to be labeled like that, like a complete just asshole that doesn't care. And so I took it down. I apologized, and since then it's just been golf related, just players. Like I try to keep family out of everything. There was like one Lucas Glover meme that I made that at the time thought was really funny, but it was just distasteful, and it didn't sit well with some of the people that even I'm friends with, on the tour and stuff. And, you learn from those things and you just get better from it. And I just try to have good, playful fun with these guys and not just take it too personal.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, just being out there, like I noticed from the guys, like most guys can handle you coming at them. When you get to the family, it's kind of like, let's not go there.
Like that's sacred ground.
Yeah. But yeah. Let's go to a little.
No, and
go ahead.
No, I said, and I get that. And, I've learned from that. And I think, people have probably seen that and, hopefully it didn't offend anybody too much. But yeah, I just got to keep away from the families.
One more on this one before we go. Like cancel culture right now, like it's like you can offend anybody with any joke out there no matter what, and then they come for your throats and all that. You worried about that at all? Like overstepping the line there and saying like, oh, this is teetering on the edge, or what if I go too far? Can this thing get shut down in a day?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. I mean, especially after I quit my job, and doing some of this stuff. But like, I've already had a couple things happen to me that were interesting. Like, for one, like politics aside, I think one of the funniest videos that I've seen was created by Scratch, which I believe is an entity of the PGA Tour. And it was just of Donald Trump hitting golf balls, and all of them were hole-in-ones. And at the Phoenix Open, I think it was just Tiger's ball or something. And I posted that one year and just said like, happy birthday, Mr. President. That's all I put. And I thought the video was funny. And I think it was really funny 5-6 years ago. Now it's not funny. And I got so much hate. The PGA Tour called me the next day and was asking like what I posted that was racist and all this stuff. And like, it was like, my day was flooded with just dealing with a bunch of stuff. And I was like, all right, I need to think about what I post now, because like the world's obviously sensitive to certain things and certain people. I gotta appease a certain group, but at the same time, I don't want to change like who I am. So it's a weird world we live in right now with the internet. And then I posted something that was motivational messages on tampons, and it was like, you can do it, be strong, and I said on the meme, I put something that, hey, this is what I hand out to my buddies as a power play or power move when they're struggling on the course. And overall, it got some good it was received well by men and women. Like, there was a lot of people joking about it, and there was one girl who did not like the joke, and I was going to respond to her and I chose not to, but I pinned her comment. And I shouldn't have done that, but I pinned her comment, but it created a very big conversation that was not good for her. And I went to sleep. Like, I didn't pay attention to it. I fell asleep. And then the next morning I woke up and it got really bad for her. And although like I think it's a joke and I thought it was funny, I don't think that the way people reacted to her was fair whatsoever, and it shouldn't have. And I don't condone it whatsoever. But she like pretty much posted like a full blown press conference, and it got picked up by Sky Sports, and it was like huge over in the UK. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was like never in a million years would I have thought that this would have led to that, you know. And again, it's like you learn from how you do stuff. Like, you know, I definitely shouldn't have reacted whatsoever to her comment. Maybe some people say I shouldn't have made the joke, but you know, it's a fine line that you're running, you know, and you're going to upset people. You're never going to make people happy, everyone happy.
No doubt. Well,
tampon jokes.
Yeah, tampon jokes will get you.
Sensitive region.
Let's go to some positive memes, though. What are some of your favorite you've done throughout the – I mean, you have over 5,000 posts on your Instagram, so there's obviously a lot to choose from. But what are some of your favorites you've done that maybe have gotten the biggest or best response?
Oh, man, that's a tough question.
I know we wrote down a few of our favorites.
Okay. Well, I'd love to hear those. I mean, some of my favorite that are out there, like, man, I had a lot of fun when Phil just kind of gave all of his F's out the window at Shinnecock, I believe, at the US Open. Made a ton of memes around that. I had a lot of fun with just the Rory memes the other day when he was ripping his shirt. I mean, I was like 3 or 4 just kind of spit out really quick. Rory's a fun one because like everyone, like Rory's a nice guy and everyone loves Rory, but like he's also got these funny, there's low-hanging fruit opportunities to tease or make fun of him about just not winning the Masters and stuff, photoshopping him with the green jacket. But I mean, there's so many good ones out there. It's like I go back sometimes and look at stuff I posted 2 or 3 years ago, and I can just recycle them now because I've got all these new followers. And I'm like, dude, that was funny. Like, how did I even come up with that? You know, I could surprise myself with my sick, twisted sense of humor. But yeah, there's tons of good ones out there. And I would say some of my favorite too have been Michelle Wee. Like, she reacts very well to these. And there was one of a giraffe bending over, drinking in the water. And I just like live look at Michelle Wee putting. It looked like her tabletop stance.
Literally one of the ones I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. And she responded back, like laughing and had such a good time with it. And like instantly I was like, I love Michelle Wee, and everyone else gravitated towards her too. As just someone that could take a joke, had a sense of humor. And so you kind of just love to see that.
Oh, she's awesome. She's one of my favorites. I like the one where the Brooks with Paulina talking about losing Dustin in Vegas. That was one of my favorites. Any of the Hangover ones are fantastic. When you put the tour players on the Hangover guys, I love that so much.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with those ones at all either.
I would say also too the Patrick Cantlay rolling into Atlanta one from his college picture with the 4 girls is that picture is just classic.
You don't even have to have words for that. Just be like, here's the dude.
So I have a story about that one. This is wild. So I think I don't know, like his girlfriend's been really nice. I kind of had some exchange with her at the Ryder Cup. We were handing out some stuff to some of the wags out there, and she seemed really nice. But my interactions with him have been swing and misses. Like I caught him at the worst days possible. And even in my career before, we had a lot of interactions with celebrities where we would hire them to come and do stuff with us for like an hour or for a day. And you get some people on a bad day. So you can't judge them for that moment. Like you have to understand these guys are real people too. But yeah, like the first time I met him was at the US Open at Pebble Beach. And it was literally just me and him. And I think he had just won at Memorial. And I like congratulated him. And he looked at me like I ran over his dog or something. Like it was just very awkward. And I was like, okay, must have been a bad moment. So fast forward, we meet in Abu Dhabi. He was one of the American players that they'd flown out there, him, Bryson, and Brooks. And so I did all this content with Brooks and Bryson. It went great. Couldn't have gone better. And then Patrick comes in the room. And one of the segments we did was called Meme Vault. And it was just to show like 3 to 5 memes that I've done on each of these guys and get their reaction as we look at it, maybe talk about why it was created. And so he was just awkward when he came in from the beginning. And then the first meme I showed him was that one of him with like the Weekend at Bernie's type of look where he's got all these girls behind him and stuff. And he just stops the thing and he goes, not that one. And I go, okay. He's like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. Next one, please. And like, I'm like, okay. And so I go to the next one. And like, I don't remember what the next one was, but it was like worse. I was like, how do I rebound from this? You know, I was like, so then I like spun it. Like it was the most awkward thing. And like, long story short, we never aired the interview at all. It never saw the light of day. It was really awkward. So or maybe there'll be a one day with Patrick.
Have you seen him since?
No. But I mean, he follows PGA Memes and like he's a great player. I'm sure we're gonna cross paths again, but it was just yeah, it was awkward, dude. So
I think so many people like Patrick, like that picture comes up and they love it. You know what I mean? If you just kind of leaned into it a little bit, that might go a long way. Just like, yeah, dude, I had a weekend one time. Who hasn't?
yeah, I mean, obviously, like you have pictures out there from the past. I don't know if it like was worried about upsetting a girl or something, but the other meme I was laughing about is you remember the meme where you can say like wheels on a shopping cart be like, and it's like three of the same, and then there's one crazy fourth picture. One of them was that, and it was just Patrick stone faced serious, which he is 99% of the time. And then the other wheel was him smiling, which is like this rare occasion. And so I had to spin that way differently because the interview was going sideways. And, I was like, you're so serious all the time and just dialed into your game. And, like had to like almost spin it real positive towards him. But it was like, that's people like that picture of you with those girls. Like, dude, it humanizes you and it's awesome. Like, look at you, dude. Go, live your life. But he didn't like it. So
yeah, he'll get over it.
That'd be my profile pic if I had that thing.
Kidding.
I know, right?
I also like the one of, just because the times we're in now, the John Rahm one, if testing positive was an Olympic sport with all Michael Phelps's medals.
Yeah.
And Michael Phelps even commented on that one.
Yeah, he did. And actually John sent me a voice message through DM, and he's like, hey, he goes, obviously he's like, it's been crazy times. He's like, thanks for making me laugh. He goes, but dude, you'll never guess who sent me this meme. He goes, Michael Phelps.
Yep. That's awesome.
Like, all right, that's pretty cool. So, but yeah, that guy, he's probably he's tested positive for COVID like 3 or 4 times now. It's insane.
He's bulletproof now, dude. Nothing can touch John Rahm. Ain't nothing getting to him. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing right now. Your new series, Home Course, where you're going out and it essentially kind of looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like cribs with PGA Tour players. You go to their house, check out their spot, talk to them, interview them, all that. Tell us a little bit about that project because it looks sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's just like how I started this meme stuff was like, I love memes. I wanted to find something that related to like the golf community and humor and show some fun with these guys. But then as I built this out, I wanted to create some more content with the players and find ways that I can humanize them and, help them build their personal brands and stuff. There's a couple guys we're working with and with like helping run their social and their marketing directly, which is something like I've done in past lives and want to continue to pursue. But with this show directly, it's like, man, these guys all have so many great homes and great golf complexes at their properties. They've got awesome cars, just toys that are crazy. And like, not everyone wants to be super showy, but at the same time, they don't have this opportunity like some of these other guys do, where you only see them on a golf course or being interviewed, after the round. And these guys, a lot of them are just awesome guys with really great personalities, great family lives. And this was just an opportunity to create some cool content in the golf space and allow them to kind of step out and show all the stuff they've worked for over the years and that they've earned with all the time spent into their golf careers, which, you guys both know is crazy. And not a lot of people give the credit where it's due. They're working their butts off all the time to get better and to win these events. So, it's been really cool. We've shot 4 so far and they've all gone great. I'm excited to get the series launched. We're going to actually be launching it on the 1st with Jason Day's episode.
I saw the clip of Jason Day's and his golf complex. My God, that is ridiculous.
What's he got?
A golf course in his backyard. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. So Jason and I, we met a few years ago and then he started having me out at his foundation event. And this last year, the first year was COVID. So it was a little bit kind of, everyone's at arm's length and it was kind of, just to get it done. But this last year, kind of back to normal. He's like, hey, we're inviting some people back to our house and, you guys should come. And so I'm like, dude, absolutely. Let's go. And honestly, I've already had this show kind of in my mind of when we're going to launch it, who we were going to be targeting. And Jason Day wasn't one of them. I wasn't going to lie. Like Columbus, Ohio is the last person I thought like, hey, we should have him on this thing. And so we go there and he's got this golf barn. It's like his man cave, but it's this barn. And you go in and it's weight room. He's got this green in there that he can shape different undulations on. And you've got full swing simulator. You got open bars, trophy case. And then you've got this 3 doors that just open wide up to a par 3. It's a 165-yard par 3 that has a green kind of in the middle of the fairway with 9 holes. And you got another chipping green to the right, and then you got your full on green in the back. And then, I mean, you saw the video. I mean, he had it overseeded. It looked like it was freaking Augusta National. I think it was just unbelievable. So, but yeah, you guys are going to love it. It's honestly, we got some great guests and some great people, but the goal behind it was how can we get some content out there that's different? I know it's not recreating the wheel here. I mean, Cribs has been around for a long time. It's a great show, but it's like nostalgic. All of us love watching it. And so why not do it and bring it to life with some of the people in the golf community and have some fun? So we got some great guests, and season 2 is already pretty much locked up with people too, like building their homes and having them being finalized over the winter. So we'll have some fun with it, and I'm excited to see it launch.
Has anyone taken you into the master bedroom yet and pointed to the bed and said, "This is where the magic happens"? Please tell me somebody has done that.
They say this is the workbench.
Okay, all right, that's the new phrase. It used to be this is where the magic happens.
Yeah, that's been used twice so far, and I was like, okay, I never heard that, but that's the new saying. So
if you do Cribs, you got to do that. Yeah, okay. Who all have you done so far, if you can reveal it? You said Jason Day.
Yeah, Jason Day. We have Mark Leitchman, and that one was cool too because Mark lives your ordinary life. He's just your average guy, but he has ownership in a brewery. So it's really cool. We went down the street and checked out his brewery and got to see a lot of that behind the scenes action. So I think people like to see that. We went to Scottsdale and shot Pat Perez's house and just kind of had to do that because his house is just overly wild. I mean,
he's shy.
We literally were there for like 13 hours because we got daytime stuff and then you had to get the nighttime stuff with it being lit up. So that'll be a pretty wild episode. And then we just got done shooting Cam Smith's house yesterday out in Jacksonville. So nice. Then we got one guest that's waiting to get back here that's kind of tentative, but Tony Finau is going to be our next guest. And we're just deciding if we're going to be doing it in Utah or in Scottsdale, or he built his new house. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. And I think it's going to give the people an opportunity to see these guys in a different light. And I mean, the stuff they have, the homes that they're living in, it's just what everybody would obviously expect, but, wants to have themselves. So hopefully they enjoy the content. And, my goal too in this is hopefully these guys all find new fans as well. If this content goes well and goes viral, hopefully get a lot of people who, enjoy seeing them off the course and, pick them up as fans moving forward.
Yeah, well, we love what you're doing. Yeah, man, it's been awesome. It's a lot of fun. But we got to get to the emergency 9 before we let you go. 9 fun questions to get to know a little more about Travis Miller.
All right.
Sleaze, you want to start it off?
Yeah, first one, this is recurring. You get to live one day in the life of any person ever, dead or alive. Who do you want to be?
Oh, man. Dead or alive?
Smiley. You respond. Change the whole script.
No, I'll go Tiger Woods.
That's fair. Yeah.
Specific day? Probably want to win the Masters, I would assume.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
You
probably.
got options.
Maybe that first Masters victory that he had.
You got options. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a comfortable back 9 for you. Cruise that thing in.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier your Hiss a Lot Instagram page you have. Our man Jeff Fujimoto here at 8 a.m. Golf is the king of the Hiss a Lot. He takes the thing everywhere. If he ever pulls out his camera and you're playing golf with him, immediately look down because he's about to try to prank you. But what's the best video? Yeah. What's one of your favorite videos you've ever seen of the Hiss a Lot?
I would say, I mean, the first one that I ever got is still one of my favorites. It was just a friend of mine, but from a celebrity standpoint, the Brock Osweiler one was just so funny because, like, it was not only his reaction, which was just so like feminine, like he just jumped and screamed and ran, but like I want to say that like Backstreet Boys was playing on the speaker on his golf cart, which just brought it all together, man. But that one was so funny, and that one kind of helped put it on the map too because it got picked up by ESPN, it got picked up by Barstool, and the page really blew up from there. But that one is just hilarious.
Some good background music will make it even better.
That's going to smoke you out. That's even worse than looking like a bitch when the snake scares you, which, by the way, he's done to me like 5. I'm 0 for 5, I think. I watched that page, dude, and I literally will just giggle. It's the same thing over and over, and you know what's going to happen, but I just sit there and giggle over and over for long periods of times. I'm like, that's happened to me. And I even know it's coming when I start the round. I'm like, it's going to come out today. Just be prepared when you rock around the cart.
Well, where you guys live, you have to be, no matter what. Yeah. You have to be. You got to keep your head on a swivel for sure.
One of these days, there's going to be an actual rattler there. I'm like, I'll fuck off with this. Yeah, and kick it and die probably.
Him and Urlacher, you got to watch him.
Dude, Urlacher, I mean, he's got a whole arsenal of little toys.
He's definitely taken the baton from Jeff for sure. He's been getting tons for sure for us. It's awesome.
All right, we're gonna do this little part here where it's love or hate. So we're gonna list off some tour players, and you're gonna say whether they love you or they hate you.
Okay.
Just some fun.
My first one was Smiley. We're gonna pass.
Yeah,
that
we already
one.
know the
Okay,
answer to
we're
that
gonna
one.
pass that one. And you kind of mentioned this guy earlier, but Ian Poulter.
I would say it's starting to become more of love. Like, yeah, like we've been working on some stuff, and like I've talked to his team that helps manage some of his stuff, and I think there's mutually beneficial stuff, and been willing to help him as much as I can. And kind of, we had a talk actually when we met the first time, finger in my face, let me know how he felt. So it was hate for sure, and then it just turned into a friendship over time.
Hate
so I
turned
think we're in a good
love.
spot.
That's a real romance. I don't know him personally, but I feel like he could take a joke. He can give the needle. I feel like if you're gonna be one of those guys, you got to be able to take it too.
He gets a bad rap. I love Ian Poulter.
I've never been around him.
He's greatness. I mean, I can see why he would get mad sometimes, obviously. And
you got the finger in the face. Did he tell you have a little penis?
He did not. But what's funny is I went back because I'm like, I don't think I've really done anything that bad with Ian. Like, really, the jokes revolved around his crazy hairstyles and his outfits he used to wear and stuff like that. But I just told him, I'm like, look, Ian, nothing personal. Like, I think you're a great player. I see you're a good father. You're a good family guy. You're just the Ryder Cup assassin. I'm American. You just crush us all the time. So we love to like hate you. We love to like poke fun. And he's like, no, you're taking it personal. That's the Ryder Cup. And, he's like, maybe we'll do something down the road. But he goes, I'm not going to do an interview with you today. And I'm like, okay. And then here we are a few years later, and we're in a better spot. So
I love it.
Good spin zone. Well done.
All right, let's go. Brooks Koepka.
I think we're about like this. I don't think there's like Jenna and I are cool. Like, we'll talk often. We actually talk for like 40 minutes at the Ryder Cup. Brooks, I'll give him this. Like, my time spent with him one-on-one and walking inside the ropes with him, I thought he was great. He was super nice to me. He was asking me questions, interested in like, he wasn't just about himself. So I think a lot of people, what they think of him from what they see on TV is the opposite, at least in my experience. But we don't talk. We don't have a relationship by any means, beyond that. So I think we're kind of in the middle.
Neutral's a good spot to be there, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a comfortable terrain. All right, other side of that coin, Bryson DeChambeau.
that one's insane. So I think we're good. Actually, he followed me again. Again, 2-3 days ago. So I think the stock's trending up, but we were good too. Like, I could have gone hard at Bryson, you guys. Like, the guy has been easy target.
No, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, we both work with Puma and Cobra. So I've also been like, hey, obviously he's more valuable to them than I am. So like, if I go super hard, the guy could probably make one phone call and be like, dude, stop working with this guy. But so I've always treaded lightly, and he's been super nice to me. Like, when I went to Abu Dhabi, I walked 18 holes with them during practice round, spent a lot of time with him and his old caddy. We did an interview. He couldn't have been better. Made fun of himself. Like, we really enjoyed the time doing stuff. He's also done a couple of other side projects with me. And then one day he like blocked me. It was like around the time where Brooks and him were starting this feud. I think I made a joke about, in Zoolander, when Ben Stiller throws like, is this a house for ants or whatever? Like, I made a joke about that with Bryson. And like, the next day I'm blocked. And Kevin Na is a buddy of mine. I called Kevin because they were playing at a charity event that week. I don't remember what event it was, but I'm like, dude, what's with Bryson? And I'm like, you need to give him shit today when you guys are together. And so he unblocks me, but doesn't follow me back. And we've just had this thing for the last year where he's just, I don't know what his deal is. And then one night, like 2 or 3 in the morning, he sent me this long thing, how I turned on him and all this. It was weird. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, listen, it is what it is. I don't care. And then we were at Topgolf the other night. He was with me in this big group, and we talked, and he's going to be on this home course thing next year when his monstrosity of a house is being built here in Grapevine. I think we're going to showcase that. And I don't know, but yeah, it's going the right direction. But some of these guys just are super sensitive, and he had a moment last year, I think, where I triggered him and went sideways.
It's a roller coaster of a relationship.
These are delicate emotions and egos you're dealing with. You gotta be careful.
All right, let's go to the next question here. Who would be the tour player most likely to invite you out to dinner?
Man, I would say like the guys that are on this first season, I mean, all of them have been really great to me. And like, Pat Perez cooked us dinner twice, 2 nights in a row, was just a gracious host. Because we did a charity round the second day that someone auctioned or won an auction to play a round of golf with him and I. But, Pat, Jason, Mark, those guys, they've all been great to open the door for whatever. So I'd have to say probably those three are the top guys.
Pretty good. Okay, this is what we talked about. Some of the players you've had interactions with. I want to know the wife or girlfriend you fear the most when you see them walking towards you.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this.
Like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
It's a tie. Justine Reed would be one.
Mm-hmm.
I walked by her actually at CJ, and she didn't know who I was, but I was like, oh man, if she sees me and knows who which I feel like she's the one who has eyes on everything. She definitely hates me. And then just Lucas Glover's wife, just because of the joke that I had out there was distasteful, but she probably hates me. And I actually saw her at one point, and I thought she was staring and burning a hole through me, but it was just all in my head. So I thought she was coming up to me to say something, and I was like, "Here we go. This is not going to be good. This is not going to be good." And then it all was fine. So.
Is there a tour player? I mean, you've seemed to pretty much interact with everyone. Is there one yet that you're just like, I really don't want to run into this guy in person?
Not anymore. Honestly, the guys who I've gone hard at were like Sergio, Ian, Lee. I met all of them that one event, and it all went well. Ian took some time, I guess you could say, to get to where we are. And then other than that, there hasn't been anybody where I'm like, hey, I've gone super hard where I'm, Smiley would be interesting, right? Like, I don't know that because he hasn't rebounded. Like, I think if he rebounded in his career and things were going well for him, it might be something he could just kind of be like, dude, you were just a bump in the road or just a little peasant that was bothering me. But I definitely think I, was in his head. And from what I've heard people say, like, the dude hates my guts. So, that one would be pretty awkward, I think, for sure. But I'd love the opportunity to, meet him and spend some time with him down the road. And maybe that we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Listen, at the end of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, we're all having fun out there. You're doing an incredible job. Congrats on all the success. And Travis, we really appreciate you coming on with us.
Yeah, thank you, boys. I'm excited to join you guys, and hopefully be in Phoenix soon. We'll link up.
Yes, sir. We'll see you for Phoenix Open. Thank you, Trav. All right, that was Travis Miller, creator of PGA Memes. What a cool story. I mean, here's a guy just sitting in his underwear on the couch, decides to throw out a couple Instagrams, and then bam, fast forward a few years, and this thing is a full-fledged business. I sit on my underwear on my couch a lot, and I've yet to create a life-changing business out of that. So I'm looking forward to that. Also loved hearing about his interactions with the guys that he's gone after. Tip of the cap, actually, to Patrick Reed, who went up to him and handled it pretty well, he said. I would not have expected that. And then on the other side of that, you got Lee Westwood coming at him online, telling him he has a tiny penis and lives in his mom's basement. So that's when you know you're really getting to dudes, when they hit you with comments like that. But Travis Miller, keep up the good work, man. You're making golf fun. I know all the golf fans out there love just bullshitting their way through the workday, looking at all of your different memes. That was Travis Miller. Now we got to get to the Fanduel Sports Picks of the Week. But before we do that, Fanduel Fan Fest is coming to Scottsdale on December 11th, and you can be there for free. Don't miss your chance to hang out with sports legends and see live performances by Griffin and Nelly. Plus, the Subpar team, Colt and myself, will be on site. Come and hang out. Have a little brew, have a couple pops, win some prizes. We're going to be participating in a bunch of these games that they got out there. They also have a dedicated spot to meet all of you if you show up. All you got to do to get 2 free tickets, just place a bet of $20 or more on the Fanduel Sportsbook app. That's all you got to do. Just a little 20 burger. If you're new to Fanduel, you sign up now using the promo code SUBPAR. You'll also get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. That's the Fanduel Fan Fest. It's the hottest party in sports, hottest party in Scottsdale. It's presented by Lion Gates American Underdog, and it all goes down on Saturday, December 11th at Westworld of Scottsdale. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app or visit fanduel.com/fanfest to get your 2 free tickets now. 21 and up and present in Arizona. Opt-in required for existing users. Refund for new users is issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at fanduel.com/fanfest. Gambling problem? Probably. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. So don't miss out on that. Get out to Scottsdale. Let's have ourselves a time this weekend. And now let's get into the bets. We missed last week on Bryson. Both Colt and I felt pretty good about that. Turned out to be the worst bet of all time. However, I did give a good, I told you I was a football expert, not a golf guy. Gave you the Bills out there, and Colts Cowboys struggled a little bit, but we're getting back to our bread and butter this week. Real golf, real tournament, no official world golf ranking points or anything like that, but just a cool $3.5 million up for grabs for 20 guys down at the Hero World Challenge. Not a bad scenario, $3.5 million for 20 guys. So I'll give you 2 picks here, a favorite, and then someone a little further down. So the guy I like this week going off at 11-1, Viktor Hovland. He is playing some really good golf. I think he's going to have a breakout season, contending in major champions. But he won in Mayakoba just recently. That's back-to-back for him down there. He's won in Puerto Rico as well. He clearly likes to play in this, tropical environments with the wind and the Bermuda and the grain and things like that. Ball striking beast. He's in good form. I got to think if I'm putting anybody up there right now against Viktor Hovland, I'm leaning towards Viktor. So also, I don't know how many of these guys are like grinding and practicing. They get very little off season. So some guys show up in form, some guys don't. But I think Viktor Hovland is in pretty good form the last time I saw him. So he's 11-1, my favorite going into the Hero, my favorite bet. And then if you want to go down the board a little, you really can't go down the board very far because there's only 20 guys in here unless you want Henrik Stenson to win. There's not that many long odds, but I'm going to go all the way down to 18-1, and that's Daniel Berger. He's got just a little quick flight over from South Florida. He's a great player in Bermuda grass, grain, great putter. He's played incredible in Memphis. Not only great Bermuda player, but plays great in the wind as well. So, 18-1, like I said, there's not a ton of long odds on this thing, and you're kind of rolling the dice a little bit on who's taking a break, who's showing up there to collect some cash, and who actually wants to go win the golf tournament. But I feel really good about Viktor Hovland. Daniel Berger at 18-1 too. Like I said, only 20 players this week, so no matter who you take, you got a pretty decent chance there. But those are the bets of the week here from Subpar. We'll be back next week to our regular scheduled program. Colt Knost will be back in the house. Hope you all have a great week. Happy betting, and we'll see you next time.